Hello, hello. Let me get all my ducks in a row before we officially start. Alrighty, so good evening, good afternoon, good morning to some folks, and welcome to Revealed with Dr. KP. I am Dr. KP. I am a board certified plastic surgeon here in the US, and I'm also your friend. And Revealed is a show that I do now. It's been a while. And we can talk about why that is after we talk to my guest today. But it's a show about actually hearing people's stories, right? I think that there are a lot of us expert plastic surgeons on the interwebs who share our insights. And while they are great insights, and I don't want to undermine my own kind of content, I do also think that there's a huge benefit to just hearing from people who've gone through this before and who are willing to share kind of what are the ins and outs of their surgery from soup to nuts, from consultation to recovery and beyond. So Reveal is your show. It's really your show, not my show. And I am just here to moderate and hopefully ask some insightful questions. You too, because this is your show, can be a part of Revealed. So there are 3 ways to be a part of Revealed. You can actually join the live. You can actually call in. The link is posted for everyone to use. You can actually join in and share your own story if you have one. You can comment, and you can always like and subscribe and hit the notification button so that you are well informed of when we go live next time. We want to keep it cute, keep it positive, and make sure that we are always uplifting people. It's not about bashing people, places, or things. So, without further ado, I want to add to the stage my guest for this evening. Hello, Miss Natalie.
Hello, Dr. KP. How are
Thank
you?
you so much. I'm good. Thank you so much for joining me this evening.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So this is your stage, and I'm going to ask questions just to kind of guide you, but I really just want to hear from you and kind of how your journey has been. Do you mind just sharing a little bit of your background before we get started?
I live in Canada and I'm of a Caribbean um, and Latino background.
Nice.
And I guess what you'd like to, well, I started how we found each other was that
Mm-hmm.
I did a TikTok because I was going to have my nose done. Um, and I wanted people to really see what really did happen in the first weeks of getting your nose done, with transparency, not having any filters in, because I realized that a lot of people, when they do their before picture and they do their after picture, and then every picture after that is a picture with a filter, so you have no idea what that person really looks like or how their journey is going with their nose. So they may not be comfortable with even what they did get done. Yeah, I love a beauty filter, but for transparency purposes, so people
Yeah.
can see the real, this is what happens. This is day 2. This is day 3. This is when my cast was revealed. This is what I look like a week later. I went out to eat. I did that on my TikTok, the Chit Chat with Nat. I'm Nat. And I wanted to basically just engage with people and just be transparent, which a lot of feedback came back. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just threw it out there, and I threw myself out there because I don't think I'm that of a transparent, like, give myself to everyone. But for the purpose of that, I did. And I felt better about it. It was
Well,
really good.
well, thank you for being so open, because I think so. Rhinoplasty is a really, it's kind of coming up, right? And I think it's increasingly accepted in the brown and black community, whereas before I don't think there was a
There's
bit
some
of a black
pushback.
box. Yeah, there was a bit of a black box around it where people weren't
There's
even
still some
talking about it.
pushback now.
There's
Ta-
still
when-
some pushback, but I think we're a little bit more open to this discussion about Black people having surgery on their face, right? That's not something that
Right,
we've ever
right.
really had open discussions about before. So we know what you had done. You had a rhinoplasty. How long?
I had a deviated septum. How I got to this point was,
Yeah.
yeah, like as even when I spoke to my family about getting my rhinoplasty, they were like, "Oh, we understand." They were like, we just always wondered why your nose was bigger than everyone else's nose in the entire family." So, like God gave me, oh, give this piece to Nat, give this piece from this one to Nat. Like
Yeah.
I had the biggest nose, which they were like, well, we understand. It's okay. So
Oh,
it
that's
wasn't,
good.
there wasn't pushback there.
That's good.
Um, there was, there were people that were like, well, is it because you don't love yourself? I was like,
Hmm.
I love me more than everyone else. So
Yeah.
it is definitely not that.
Yeah.
And then there's a friend camp that is like, I had a lot of comments from not about my nose job, but from before I had my nose job. And I'm just like, wait, my nose never stopped me from getting proposals. Like the big nose got all the proposals. Um, so it has nothing to do with people thought I was beautiful with my big nose. I was beautiful with my big nose. I got my rhinoplasty because it was something personal that I wanted to do because
Yeah.
I already had something that they had to fix.
Mm.
So I had a deviated septum, and I was like, well, yeah, my best friend who lives in Hawaii, Honolulu, she said, well, I think you've always wanted a nose job. And I said, well, yeah, it's always been in my mind, but never where I said, oh, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
Never put into motion. And then when my deviated septum, I said, hey, we might as well just do the whole thing
Yeah.
and get it done. And I'm so happy because I do love my new nose.
Good.
Mhm,
So the first question I usually ask is what have you had done? So we've answered that question.
mhm.
Did you go to a board certified plastic surgeon? Or
Absolute,
who did you go to?
abs-
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely. So my general practitioner here said, because I spoke to her first, and she advised not to have it done abroad. Like it was a big push for Turkey, Colombia, different countries. She said
Mm-hmm.
I would advise against that because a lot of people come back with skin infections and you don't want that in the middle of your face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but in my research, Turkey they do a good job. Things look good. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about after because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't give you after.
Mm-hmm.
They only give you I'm there, some videos, and you see things, and then there's all those filters, like I said. So me being a scaredy cat, and it's my face,
Right.
um, I think about aftercare as being the most important
Right.
thing involved in this because it's my
Right.
face.
Right.
So I said, I don't speak Turkish. I'm going to go to a foreign country and then I'm back after a week and then I'm on my own.
Right.
Like, no. So I'm here in Canada. My surgeon is here in Canada. Yes, I paid more money to get mine done. But when I felt like I didn't remember how to tape my nose, I was there in the office. Oh, come in.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
showed me and I took a video. I said, okay, let me do it. Am I
Yeah.
doing it right? Or when we did cortisone shots to help bring down the swelling, I wouldn't get that if
If you had
in
gone to
Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah.
I wouldn't get where if I hit my nose and I want to come and see someone, if I did it in Turkey, I'd be paying to see someone here
Right. Right.
as if it was a what's this when you do the second one?
Revision.
Like it was a revision because
Yeah.
no one's going to touch me here because I didn't
Right.
get it done here. So I think about things like that, and people think about money, and I'm thinking about I want to be close to where my surgeon is.
Yeah. No,
So
I think that's a great thing to say, and especially because it is your face, you really want to make sure that if there is a complication or if there's something that you have to do afterwards in terms of aftercare, that you're close to
Right.
the person who can serve.
Aftercare is so important. I think people
Very,
miss
very.
that step and they don't think about it. I've heard of stories where people who had plastic surgery, not necessarily the nose, or face, in different countries, and these are people I know, their family members that came back and died.
Mm,
So infection,
mhm.
and I mean, like, that's a horror story. Like, you don't even want that
Yeah,
to happen to you, and you can't
yeah,
say, "Oh, it won't happen to you," until it
right,
happens to you.
right, exactly.
So everyone, they have their own risk levels. I mean, I am for people doing things to make them happy, within reason, within reason.
Right.
But so I'm just glad I did what I did for myself, because I do things for myself, not for other people.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It's who I am.
Speaking of paying more, about how much did you end up paying?
It was like 17,
Okay.
right? Not 100.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah,
But my
the
surgeon
zeros at
is
the
my
end.
surgeon is on the board here, and he has fellows. You know what fellows are. Other
Mhm,
people do not know what fellows are. Those are
mhm.
other doctors that are from the colleges or from abroad that come here, and
To learn from him.
he has them in the surgery, and he
Mhm,
has them in the office on learning different techniques and just
mhm.
learning.
Yeah.
So I did shortlist three. I looked at everyone, and then I shortlisted to three in um, Ontario. Well, no, one was in Montreal, that a lot of people were telling me to go to, but then I didn't feel connected.
Okay.
And Montreal's too far for me to drive down and say, "Hey, fix my nose," or
Fair
look.
enough, fair enough. So you
And
ultimately narrowed it down from the
to
3
two,
because you felt
two
more connected
to
to him,
two
or
in Ontario,
okay.
two in the GTA, the
Yeah.
general Toronto area, and one the other one was saying, what if we don't want to do what you want us to do to your nose? And what if I want to do what I feel is best? And I'm like, if I'm
Mm,
paying all this money, I want what I want.
mhm.
Like,
What kind of suggestions was that person making?
we couldn't even get to suggestion because I don't like that statement.
Mm,
It's, if I'm paying whatever amount of money I'm paying, and this
right.
is what my request is to do X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
and you decide to do a whole other thing. No, I think you should value what without me harming myself, because I
Yeah.
know what I'm asking is not going to harm. I had enough nose to play with. we You can't mess this one up. Where
Yeah.
it's not like we can do within reason, because I have thick skin.
Yeah.
So you can't do as much as people think they can do with a person with thick skin. You cannot. No, I think I actually touched on that in on one of my posts, that
Yeah.
because it is thick skin, it's harder to manipulate to get some of the things that you do want. So
Yeah.
within reason, a lot of people said, "Oh, your nose looks so they wouldn't even think I had a nose job. My
Mhm.
nose looks so natural." Um, because it's better to have a little more nose in case you have to do a revision, or if you have not enough nose, then you have a problem.
Right. Right. So, there's a lot of good stuff that you said in there, but the one thing I do want to say about the thick skin is very true. So, when we as plastic surgeons evaluate a person for rhinoplasty, we're assessing the color of their skin, but also the thickness of their skin, whether or not they have thick kind of sebaceous skin, as we call it, or they have thinner skin. With thick skin, you can make all these elegant changes to the cartilage that you want to, but when you redrape the skin, it won't reflect as much as someone who has thin skin. So that is very
Right,
true.
right.
Um, what let's go back to the consultation. So when you were in the office consulting,
We
what
actually did
were
it
the things?
a video. We did a
Oh,
video
video. Okay.
consultation for that one.
What were the things that you were wanting to see? Like, what were I always ask my patients, what are the three things that if we didn't change anything else about your nose, what are those three things that you absolutely want to see changed? So for
Okay.
you, what were those three things?
Get rid of the bulk that was here at the front. So it
Mm-hmm.
was more flat, but it was long. It was like it's long, but it's flat. Is
Mm-hmm.
what my old nose looked like on on my TikTok. And my nostrils could hold other people. So
No, not nostrils.
I want it's like the clown car, and then like thousands of people come out of the clown car. I could house people in my nostrils. So I wanted narrower nostrils. And
Okay. Okay. All
I'm
right.
my funniest person because I love myself so much and I could talk about myself in any kind of way.
No, I love it, but it's just hilarious.
And what we did here was there's tissue here to
Mhm,
build some of my bridge, and rib cartilage is here for my tip. So my tip was lifted.
mhm.
It was a good job. Good job. Yeah. But
And,
the nostril flare,
yeah.
because even before that, I did because I go and I get Botox for my masseters,
Mhm,
which my dentist said to do because I won't wear my mouth guard because I feel like I'm gonna choke in my sleep.
mm,
So that's a personal
fair enough.
thing with me, but I
Yeah,
try not to get it done often because I don't want to mess up my muscles in my face
yeah.
for later where it because that's a toxin. So too much is no good in my mind. You start doing too much, messing with your muscles too much. And I actually spoke to a a surgeon that was doing research on all the muscles in the face and
Mhm,
um how they work on a daily basis because they had little things attached to your face when you're
mhm,
talking, when you're eating, what's
mhm,
moving and why. So and he said I wouldn't recommend doing Botox in your masseters because at some point it may kill that muscle where your face will drop anyway because you have the muscle there. But in our society, the vanity is huge, and everyone wants to have no chin, no nothing. Soon we have no face. But I didn't do it for the cosmetic reason. I did it because I grind and I get
mhm,
headaches. So, and my dentist was like, do that as your option if you won't wear your mouth guard, which I won't. So I do get it done, but I may get it done once or twice a year instead of as many times as I should. Um, so when I did that, the lady nurse, she because she said, "Oh, you flare," and she would do Botox on the muscle that is over the cartilage, I guess, of the nostril. I didn't really see any difference, but they
She
say they
would
see it
she would directly inject it into your nose?
into, yeah, the outside.
Okay, okay.
But I didn't do that often. I was just like, okay, but I didn't see anything.
Mhm,
It didn't make a difference. My nostrils still flared as they would. So I was just like, whatever. No, I'm not gonna spend money to do that. So I just
mhm.
didn't.
Fair enough, fair enough. Um,
You need a nose job to narrow the nostrils.
narrowed it, yeah. Without, kind of naming your surgeon, describe your interactions with that person before surgery.
Oh, very knowledgeable, very patient, and any question you ask, he will answer your questions. Oh my surgeon's awesome. Like, yay.
Good,
And
good.
he's mentioned on my TikTok.
Oh, okay.
He's in my TikTok. So
It it sounds like the answer is yes for this, but would you do it again?
yeah, I would
And if
definitely.
your
Yeah.
if your daughter asked you, um, or told you that she wanted to get the same thing, kind of what would be your words of wisdom for her? What would you say?
I'd probably do it earlier in her life than later.
Mm, mm,
Earlier, like, I know, I went to a predominantly Jewish high school,
hmm.
and, like, by the time everyone was, like, 14, they had
Yeah,
theirs done already.
yeah,
So, I get scarring is less because your skin is younger, you're at a very healthy age to recover, um, and I think your nose actually shapes your parts of your life, although there's nothing wrong with having a big nose. It never stopped relationships. It never stopped getting married. It never stopped anything.
anything, yeah.
It didn't. It just, there was some people in the comments at church. You have a big nose. I don't know what he sees in you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Miss Hospitality leader at the church. And
Wow, that's aggressive.
I was like, well, you could ask him, but nobody wants you and no one asked for your hand.
Right. Oh no.
So, like, we're not gonna play passive and lay down and let
Right,
people walk on me.
right.
I have a big nose, but guess what? I still have a suitor. You do not. And you're going to remember that every day when you did your backhanded compliment
Right.
just then. Because it was just like they were so, uh, because he's handsome. They just didn't believe he would choose me
Mm.
with my big
And
nose.
and it has so many, yeah, there's so many layers to
It's,
that too.
with the big nose, which that was never even an issue
Yeah,
to him. Like he's never said I had a big nose. No one's ever said that.
yeah. And
It's
it's
just
it's it's
it's
very layered because
women could attack you. Let's
it's
just say
very layered because as Black women, as Black people, and Asian people have this too, where we tend to have wider, flatter noses.
mhm,
Um, and so if someone is commenting on your nose, it's also kind of an extension of your ethnicity. And so it's
personal.
very kind of interwoven that way. Yeah, it's not
It's
great.
in elementary school, you heard, "Oh, you have a big nose." Okay, like I'm still alive.
And yeah, and I can breathe better.
I still have friends.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yes.
But it does sit in your head. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say, "Oh, I never thought about it." Like,
Right.
people saying stuff about you, of course you think about it. You're human,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're entitled to think about it. You may not be, you may have noticed it yourself. It's just other people noticing it as she's saying it is a whole different thing. It
Right.
doesn't feel good.
Right.
So, I was also the tallest person in elementary school. That too.
Yeah. No, that I was also taught. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's
That's
like
all
it's just different things.
there.
People will pick on different
They'll
things
find a thing. Yeah.
for whatever reason because some
Hmm.
people are just hurting, they want attention, they want to hurt someone else to deflect. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no time to try and think and figure out
Why? Yeah.
why are you attacking me?
No,
So
very true. Very true.
no. And I'm not gonna lose sleep over. I've had backhanded compliments from friends.
Or who you thought were friends.
Well, they're still friends. Whatever.
Okay.
I put them in different
Okay.
category. I put people in different categories.
Different category of friendship. Yeah.
Friendship. When you're
Okay.
thrown away, you're no longer a friend. Then it's just like, okay, so you put yourself here. You're here now. But like it's life. I realize that people go through different stages in their own life when they're in their life. And you could tell by comments that they do say. It's just that I'm a people watcher, so I kind
Yeah.
of I'm just like, okay, so she thinks her life is bad, but that is not a bad situation.
Mhm.
She's just very weak at dealing with life.
Now she's weak. Okay. All right.
Not everyone is strong.
All right. All right.
Some of the things people are crying about, I'm like, that's not a cry
That's not
issue.
it.
It's
Okay.
not. He doesn't love me. Okay, there's somebody else that's gonna love you. Do you love you? That's the big
Amen.
part.
Yeah.
Let's start with you need
Start
to love
there.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that part.
Um, just a
Yeah,
couple more questions. Do you
yes.
think plastic surgery is addictive?
No, because I definitely don't want to do this again. Like, say, oh, I want to go do a retouch. No, no, it's okay.
It's
I,
okay.
I I don't know how people get addicted to getting poked by all those needles. No, I do not want a catheter in me again for any
Fair.
for
And it
any
didn't sound
reason.
like you had any, but did you have any complications?
No,
No. Okay, perfect.
no.
And then what concerns
Other,
or anxieties? Oh, go ahead.
well, we did an alloplasty after
Mm-hmm.
to make the nostrils a little
Narrow, a little
narrower,
narrower. Yeah.
right? And I wasn't charged for that at all. That was done free um, by my surgeon. A lot of people who were on my TikTok
Mm-hmm.
actually went to my surgeon to get their noses done.
Good.
So that was good. Um, but like my surgeon will always listen to what you have to say and your feedback on the job that he has done with his team
Very
for
important.
you.
Yeah.
So you always trust me, the day after surgery, you have a call from patient aftercare to see how you are. How's the medication? How's your pain level? Today's actually your day one, not yesterday.
Yeah.
Just to and very patient. That was Mandy and Lynn in his team. Very, very, very good. Um, which you didn't feel alone.
Right. No, that's great.
You
That's
still had
awesome.
your voice. You did not feel alone in anything, and you had direct numbers to get in touch with them in case anything happened.
Very good. So, did you have any serious concerns or anxieties during the process?
No, I was like, let's go.
Good.
I wanted a date that was like tomorrow.
Well, as you're healing, did you have any concerns or any
No,
anxieties?
I
Good.
went in. I had my cast taken off in 5 days.
Hmm.
The sutures dissolved. Most of like almost all. I think I had like one that wasn't fully dissolved. I was at I was at a restaurant 2 days, what, 7 days. I was at a restaurant having dinner, which
Good.
but then I know there was like rules like not being in direct sunlight
Hmm.
because you still are healing.
Hmm.
Um, stay away from too much salty foods because that could make you swell.
Hmm.
Um, and there was like a whole folder and kit that I read at the time because I had my rhinoplasty done July of 2024.
Okay.
So I'm a year and almost a half right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So um I just did my alloplasty just last week Thursday. So
Okay.
like I still have sutures in here um that haven't dissolved yet, but I was awake for the alloplasty.
Yeah.
I did that one awake. What we learned was that my body eats the numbing as the numbing is coming
It's
inside.
coming. Okay. So you were feeling things a little bit more than you
No,
wanted to.
I felt like the last stitch.
Okay. Okay. That's not
And
bad.
I was like, I feel that last stitch. Because I was talking to them when they were doing it, and then they used the calipers to measure and make sure it was symmetrical.
On
And
the other side. Yeah.
it's still swollen now.
Yeah.
So that's why I did have an appointment today, and I'm on my healing path. 2 more weeks, I go back in, and he's gonna look at it again, and yeah. And I listened to what you said about the aquifer
Oh, good.
and
Good.
the sunscreen. So,
Good.
because I'm like a habitual not use sunscreen kind of person.
Girl.
If it's not in makeup, then it's not like that's not a step. Let's just say that.
Okay.
If it
Well,
wasn't found in my Dior makeup that says
yeah.
SPF 30, I was not gonna do a step that said SPF, that said sunscreen.
Well,
I
I'm
always
glad that you caught that
I
yeah.
moisturize, and then I prime. So there's a layer over my skin before we get to my skin with the actual makeup.
Yeah.
So that's standard. That's probably why we still have youth.
Last question. What have you learned from all of this?
um, okay, so what I've learned is if there's a burning desire for something that you do want, don't feel scared
Mm,
about it. Research it
mm,
before making your step or making that decision because the wrong plastic surgeon will be a nightmare for you.
right. Absolutely.
It is
Absolutely.
just running after less money could be a death wish. You're just signing your own coffin. I would
I
say
agree.
really do your research. Oh yeah, the stuff in Turkey. I was obsessed with Turkey. I had
Mhm.
pictures of Turkey in my phone. There was this like groups of pictures, like screenshots of work they did in Turkey. But when I actually sat with my surgeon, I didn't show him any pictures of anyone because I didn't want anybody else's nose.
Yeah.
I just told
No,
him
that's
what
very
I
important.
wanted. I wanted the things I told him that I wanted for my nose. That's what he went in and did. I didn't show him a picture. Oh, I want the Cindy Crawford nose or the Cindy
Yeah.
Kington or the Barbie nose I didn't do any of that because I didn't want it in his head to
Right.
give me those kind of things.
Right.
I said, we're gonna do my nose so it's my nose.
Yeah.
So not everybody has that concept. And cutting off too much of your nose may be a problem in the end for you.
Yes, very much so. And we've seen it. Michael Jackson had a big problem at the end with, I
Oh,
mean, he
had
had a lot of
no,
problems.
his nose collapsed.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't
So,
have any more skin to put on the nose.
yes, exactly. Exactly.
So,
So,
and
yes,
those
we've
were the
seen it.
triangle noses.
Yeah.
That was actually a concern too. I didn't want a triangle nose. I didn't want Michael Jackson's nose.
Right.
I didn't want to look like that. Janet probably did that too because hers looks like that. She has the same. She's beautiful, but
She
she
is.
does have the same. And all of them, yeah, most of them that in that group, the Jackson Five, Tito, they changed their no. They all went to, or maybe it was just back in that time.
Back in
That's
that
how they
time. Yeah.
knew how to do black noses. They didn't know any better.
Yeah, there wasn't really good respect for
But Patti
ethnic.
LaBelle's nose was good.
Yeah.
Patty's was good. That was she kept hers ethnic. She cut it in half, is what she said. She said, "I cut it in half." When it took off my face, I cut it in half. And she kept a more ethnic looking nose that suited her face.
Right. No, yeah, it is a beautiful nose.
Right. So hey, it's not like I want to get my boobs done, but it's not happening.
Okay.
That
Okay.
I
Well,
want to wake up with a waist that's like this small, but that's not happening either. So because I have a gym membership that I need to do over there. I want
well, thank you very
liposuction.
much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you
Thank
do
you very
lipo?
much.
Do you do lipo?
I do lipo. Yeah.
Whew. It sounds painful, but it looks great in the end. All that back fat gone, just like suck everything out. But then it's like I watch people get big back because they forgot they can't eat food.
Right.
So
Right. You can't change weight. Yeah, you can't gain the weight back.
you can't outdo a bad diet.
Right. No, it's very
Yeah.
true. It's
So I
very
watched
true.
people like balloon back, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, but didn't you just get hmm, okay?"
Well, all right. Stop it there. I thank you very much for coming on. You
Thank
have
you for
made
having
me
me.
laugh through this entire thing. I really appreciate it.
Yes. I'm a little comical. I needed to be a comedian, but it's
Yes, you
okay.
definitely did. But thank you, and I'm sure that a lot of people learned from this as well
Right. They could always
while
check out the
laughing.
Chit
So
Chat with Nat on TikTok
perfect.
and
Perfect.
see the entire journey from,
Perfect.
well, the beginning journey, because I need to still post everything, but the
Yeah,
beginning
yeah.
journey of right before I actually went on the surgical table, you see what we're dealing with.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you again, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Miss Natalie was truly a pleasure and a little messy, but we love a little mess. Before we get off the topic of rhinoplasties, I think this messaging about ethnic rhinoplasty is a big one that we just really need to reemphasize, because I think it is true that in the 80s and early 90s and early 2000s, there wasn't a lot of respect for, what is now being called an ethnic rhinoplasty. And even personally, this has come up for me because in the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 patients, one a white woman and one an Asian woman. And the white woman, I did her revision of her initial rhinoplasty. And she came and said, I actually want my bridge more like yours. And I said, well, I'm a Black woman. And so, that comes with the territory. And I don't really want to give you a Black woman's nose because that wouldn't make sense for your ethnicity. And so we agreed that was not necessarily the move. And she can appreciate my nose, but still not necessarily strive to achieve that same nose because that wouldn't make sense for her. And then I have an Asian patient who initially came in for alarplasty, again, narrowing the nose. And she came back saying that she likes it, but she still feels like her nose is wide. And I had to have a frank discussion with her and say, I'm struggling a little bit because you are Asian. And so while I want to achieve what you want, I also want to respect the fact that you're Asian. And we, as Black people and Asian people too, we have wider noses, and that's part of the package. And so I do think that as we open this discussion about Black, brown, and minority people in general just having surgery on our face, which has never really been a big discussion, right? That we start to be more mindful and more demure of the people who will work with, meaning by people here, I mean plastic surgeons, who will work with, that will also kind of find that balance between achieving a look that is more refined, right, but not erasing who you are from an ethnic standpoint. So I think that's very important. So yeah, that's revealed for tonight. I also wanted to just say that it's been a while. I think the last show was in August, and I left in September because I went to Tokyo and had a great time. Arigatou gozaimasu. And then in October, I just wasn't feeling like it. And so as we move into a new year, 2026 loading, I wanted to get a sense from you. What do you want to see from Revealed? Is this something that you find value in? Do you find value in hearing people's individual stories? I know I do, but I'm, in this sense, I kind of work for you as the public. So, we'll see you in December, hopefully, as we approach the holidays here. But in the meantime, in between time, please like and subscribe to this channel. Please leave a comment or question below. If you have a question about rhinoplasty that wasn't answered by this show, this episode, please ask it and I'm happy to answer. And then, as always, love you lots and bye for now. Good night.